Well, let's just come together in a place of consciousness. I invite you to close your outer eyes and take in a nice, big, deep breath. Breathing in that beautiful air and letting it go. There's only one love, one infinite presence, one divine love that not only creates all that is, all that we can see and all that we can't see, but it has also created each one of us. We come from love. We come from that divine, infinite good. We are that. I know for each one of us that there are trillions of cells in our bodies. And in the center of every cell is a light. And that light is infinite love. It is the divine. It is who we are. And so I speak my word in this oneness, knowing that each one of us expresses this divine love, expresses this light with such joy and peace, reaching out to all those we meet this day and going forward. I know for each one of us that we experience a greater unfolding of love in our being as we take in all that is given through Reverend David, through the music, through every aspect of this service. I know that each of us is blessed and we are a blessing. I am grateful for each one of us here in person, here online. I'm grateful for all that is and all that is about to be. I'm grateful that we are infinite love expressing. And so in this gratitude and in this knowing, I release my words into that divine creative spark that is the law. And I simply allow it to be. And we can say together, and so it is. And now there will be a few minutes of silence so that you may further contemplate the light that you are.
So we are working this whole month, and by the way, I see a few new faces here. Welcome. Thank you for being here and checking us out. And hopefully this will bless you today. So thank you, because you've blessed us with your presence. And I want to acknowledge that first of all, we're working, our theme this whole month is higher, deeper love. Yes? So we're looking at how can we tap into that higher, that deeper love. Not just the romantic feeling of love, but that deeper love. And our theme for today, our topic for today is love lifts us up where we belong. We've been playing with song lyrics, I guess, the last couple of Sundays, because last Sunday was What's Love Got to Do With It? Thank you, Tina Turner. And today is Love Lifts Us Up Where We Belong by somebody else whose name I don't remember. But I also know that today is Pride Day, Pride Festival Day, and so to me, Pride is a celebration of love and of the fact that love can't be contained within rules and boundaries and barriers. And so even though we're not present at the parade right now, that our hearts are present and our support is present with that. So just join me in that. So love lifts us up where we belong. God is love, yes? All of the teachings, all the spiritual teachings say that infinite presence, that whatever name you want to give it, is love. God is not a being that is loving. God is love itself. And so because God is love, and we are God in form, yes? We're that infinite presence in form, then we are love. It's an equation, you did your math, good. We are love. God is love, plus we are God equals we are love. And so love is where we belong because it's our true nature. It is who we intrinsically are. However, there's a little process with that awareness. Richard Rohr says, love waits to be invited and desired and only then rushes in. Love waits to be invited and desired. I have to open the door. Yes? We can live in a field of infinite love, but if I don't open the door, I don't experience it in my life. And so that's what we're being called to do. So to invite love in, we have to let go of fear. We have to let go of fear. Fear will block love for us. Our fears equal our false gods, our what Emerson calls our bloated nothingness. And so we have to let that go. There's an upcoming reading from the 365 Days of Richer Living on Love, which is Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. And it starts off with a quote from the first letter of John, which says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, for God is love." There is no fear in love. When we're absolutely fully immersed in love, there's nothing else there, right? It's just love. And so Ernest goes on to say from that quote, he says, there is no fear in love, and there is no liberation from fear without love. There's no liberation from fear without love. Fear is based on the supposition that we are unprotected, rejected, friendless. I would add, separate. We're all that. He says, if the fearful mind would entertain love and the harmony and the peace that go with it, it must turn from everything that denies love and, trusting in divine guidance, open its being to the influx of love. Not just love of God, but love of everything, for love is all-inclusive. And so take a breath. So we get to look and say, where is it that I kind of don't quite fully get into love here? What is it that I put outside of love in my mind? And yet, if everything is God, and everything is therefore love, is whatever it is that I put outside my mind still God and still love? There's a difference between like and that deeper, higher love. I can disagree with somebody, I can dislike somebody, but I have to still remember that I love this person and respect this person and treat them that way. Yes? Breathe. So as we release fear, we open to the natural flow of love, of the divine nature of ever-expanding good. That's the divine nature, right? The infinite is always finding new ways to express, ever-expanding ways to express. That's why we live in an expanding universe, yes? Okay? And that's why we are called to grow and expand as who we are, yes? I'm not just talking about expansion here, I'm talking about, the inner expansion. Okay? So as we let go of fear and we move into love, we move into the natural way of the infinite and let it flow through and as our lives. Yes? All the things that we fear, all the false gods melt away when we are fully immersed in love. Most of us have at some point in our lives been in love, right? Yes? Okay, if you haven't, nudge somebody and say, tell me what that's like. Okay? And we notice that when we are in love, when we have that just, love, okay, everything else sort of becomes unimportant, yes? Okay? It's just love, man. Okay? And so that is a small way, a human experience way of experiencing this love. Everything else melts away. The fears all melt away. So as we look at the world, we can view it as a forest, okay? And it has trees that are thriving and trees that are not, yes? When we look at the whole world from a high point of view. And we can celebrate and learn from the thriving trees and enjoy them. This is where love is flowing freely. And we can notice where we can add some love to trees that aren't thriving as we recognize that we are love. We sometimes get involved in this little finite pie model of life, yes? There's only so much. I only have so much love. I only have so much money. I only have so much time. And time is a construct of man, human people, right? We just made it up. My friend Michael Beckwith says that tomorrow is just more of God's today. Okay, there's just now. You know, when we're in that state that Levon was singing about of all that, there's just now. You know, we're not planning or worrying about or being afraid of. We're just now. So when we understand that we are love, we are an expression of the infinite ocean of love to which we're always linked, we're always connected, we can let go of trying to get love, to fill ourselves up with love, believing in a finite, limited poverty of love, pool of love, and recognize instead that we are full of love. Look at your neighbor and say, you're full of love. Because we all are, already. Breathe that in. So instead of trying to get love, we're sharing the love that we already are. And we have the option of judging things as good, bad, right, wrong, and getting into all that, going to blaming and all that stuff. But that doesn't support actually nurturing the trees, if you will, which is other people, the world itself, back to health, right? Blaming, shaming, judging, none of that stuff really works in the long run. Yeah? Do you understand what I'm saying? Good. Might not like it, but, you know. So instead, what is called for is the water of our love. And while we can work to change systemic conditions that block the love, and our own internal and collective patterns that block love, yes, we can work to change those. That often takes some time. Have you noticed? Okay? And major changes to overarching systems, which take some time. While we're doing that, while we're in the process of working on that, we can bring love where it needs to be anyway. Yes? Because we're working from an infinite supply of love that doesn't need systemic, systems to approve of our love. Right? We can just love. Hey, I'm not supposed to love you, but I don't care. I'm gonna anyway. Right? So we can bring that water to nourish the places of lack. So I'm going to invite you to play with a pair of questions, but they're really kind of the same question. And I'm going to invite you to move into little groups to do that. And the question is, two questions are, where can I love more deeply this week? So where does it want to flow through me more deeply this week? Where do I see some trees that could use some more water? Yes? Okay. And then where am I being called to invite greater love? Where am I being called to invite greater love into my life, into what I share with people? So are you willing to have a little conversation with this? All right. Come together. For those who are sitting kind of off in the back, come on up and join a group if you feel comfortable. The people are friendly. They don't bite. Unless you're a nice piece of chocolate, and then they'll, Where can I love more deeply this week? Where am I being called to invite greater love? Okay, let's hear from each other. This group over here said they have discovered the key to life, so we'll start there.
No, I am not the spokesperson. I prefer not to be. Well, wait, that's not the key to life, but that's not the key to life.
Thank you, Kathy.
What we discovered is that you can only love others to the extent that you love yourself. So all of that, where can I love more this week? We can love ourselves more this week. And where am I being called to invite greater love? Loving ourselves, because no love can come out of us that hasn't been in us already.
Yes.
And we recognize that no love that's ever sent is not received. So all love that is ever sent is received.
Thank you, Kathy. How about this group here? Carrie's our spokesperson. Okay.
I'm the one with the best memory, apparently. We had also a lot of love for ourselves, some health in our health, in our changing our mindset with work, and also with interacting with other people. So, and also resisting aging. So we had a lot we had a lot of being okay with where we're at, loving ourselves, and like kind of changing our mindset around what we're experiencing.
Thank you. You could also love aging instead of just resisting aging. So. Yes, what you resist persists.
Well, we didn't talk about ourselves. Yes. we all agreed that there is one particular place where we need to send our love, and then the first where we could love more fully this week. We each had a particular place in mind where we could be more love during this week. So yeah.
Thank you. And as my minister friend, I'm going to challenge a little something that was just said there. If there's only one, where do we send our love? Yeah, so our love, wherever we know it, it's always present, everywhere present at the same time. So we don't need to send love, we need to just simply know love about. Who's our spokesperson here?
To tag on to the words of our resident spiritual slacker, Kathy Gillum, we also talked about self-love, starting with kind of something Don Miguel Ruiz says about the mirror, is that when we look out into the world, and we see lack of love, it's really about ourselves and the lack of love for ourselves. So it's this cycle that goes back and forth about looking out and then reflecting in. We also saw love as a place to be when we're in conflict with other people, is to redirect ourselves towards love and being quiet and what is this all about. And then one person in our group was inspired by a sign of love in the FIFA Cup, the World Cup soccer, in that fans of a defeated team were turning to root for the team that they were defeated by, and showing their love for soccer in general and everybody. So we saw this as a big circle, and that the common theme that I'm hearing is starting with yourself, loving yourself first. So that's where we went.
Beautiful, thank you. You're being pointed or appointed the spokesperson.
The divine appointment, great. Yeah, I think I'll just echo what everyone's saying about loving ourselves first, and kind of noticing the inner dialogue that we have with ourselves, and is it consistent? Is it appropriate? Is it loving? The other place that we notice it is in the most immediate interactions that we have, which is typically our family. And so the parent-child relationship, how can we invite more love into that? Because we're immersed in that relationship so intently at times that it's challenging to be consistent. You're going to have mistakes and miscues in that relationship. And so how can we forgive ourselves? How can we forgive ourselves and still provide the love that not only our children need, but like our parents need as well? And so just making sure that generational connection is consistent with love and the love that we have with ourselves.
Beautiful. Thank you. So sometimes it helps to have that looking down on the forest view, take that high view of love. Because as Tim just mentioned, we can sometimes get, when it's in our face, not, some situations that challenge us, it's healthier to sometimes back out a little bit and say, okay, wait, time out. Love is all there is. That's why I'm being called to be here. So, how can I do that instead? And then we can re-enter back into the interaction with that. So, and I love, as several of the groups said, that the love has to start with myself. Because if I don't love myself, I'm not going to love you very well, yes? Okay. So we have to start with ourselves. So this week, your spiritual practice is to look for places and ways to let love flow through you, yes? Look for ways and places to let love flow through you. Now, here's the trick with that little invitation, right? What's going to show up? Ways and places for love to flow through you, yes? So this is a calling to a little higher. I'm going to step into something that maybe isn't quite as comfortable and let love flow through me in this situation. And guess what? You don't have to do it right the first time, yes? I know. But you give it your best shot, to quote another song. Are we all good with that practice this week? Great. I'm going to close with a quote from Ernest from an old issue of Science of Mind magazine. He says, "Love is kind, gentle, and understanding. It is tolerant," and I would use the word accepting more than just tolerant, accepting of others, and reaches back through indifference and coldness to life, to something warm and pulsating that is at the very center of everything. And love is something that the more you give, the more you get back in return. But refusing to give it seems to short-circuit any possibility of its returning. So we're being called to give love. We've been called to give love. I invite you to practice that this week. So we have an affirmation. Join me in that. I find ways to love higher and deeper this week. I let love flow through me freely. One more time. I find ways to love higher and deeper this week. I let love flow through me freely.